Wizards of the Coast has just reported their second quarter earnings, and what we really need to talk about in today's video is what this is going to cost you if you're a Magic the Gathering player. It's really not that difficult. You can make anything look like a rosy picture, but the closer you get to that rose bush, the more likely you are to find the thorns that are going to cause some problems. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today. And a reminder, if you enjoyed today's content, if you liked hanging out with the Moxman, don't forget, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell, and of course, new content every single day. Now, when we're talking about what is happening inside the company Hasbro, they beat their quarterly earnings results for Q2. They come out looking pretty good, and they painted a very rosy picture about what's been going on inside the company since last year. All these transformational stages they've been taking to get to the next level, this more centered pillar results on the main tier items of the company and not all these little smatterings. They got E1 Entertainment out of the way, and the revenues were almost they're all dropping there. They give you all kinds of gobbledygook in between, but let's get down to the nuts and bolts about what's really going on. Their cost cutting measures are working. They are making the company money. They are making it look good to the investors. Chris is going to keep his job. That's pretty simple. The new guy they brought on from Blizzard Entertainment, he's been brought there obviously for a very specific reason, because when you listen to the quarterly results call, you can see they're talking about going just totally into digital gaming. They're going to use all kinds of their licensing to expand their online presence. Makes sense to bring in a guy like that, I guess, because he knows a lot about that sort of thing, I suppose. I mean, it's Blizzard Entertainment. They haven't been doing that great in the last few years. But anyway, I can see they probably got him for a song, got him in there, and they got plans. But here's the real kicker. Here's where things start to hurt me as a Magic player. Number one, their overall money, it's not down like last year down, but they've had all kinds of losses still. There's still drops in revenue all over the place. And they said that things look better because they advanced the sales of Bloomburrow to retailers early. And I noticed that a lot of stores already had the inventory in ready to go for release this weekend for the pre-release. But they had it in last week, which is very unusual. That way they can get the money on the books. They can say the sales have happened, and it makes their money look good going into the Q2 results. It makes the company look better than it probably is at this time, which means the overall losses are probably a little bit worse than they're actually reporting, but on paper it doesn't look that way because they got those Bloomburrow sales in there, and they didn't hide it. They said they did it. They made the comment saying the advanced sales of Bloomburrow and getting the stock into the stores, blah, 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 and they kind of left it like that, okay? Yada, yada, right? Seinfeld reference? Yeah, you guys get me. So it's very interesting, but here's where things get even worse. Number one, relying on Bloomburrow advanced sales to make it look better is not a good thing for me. It doesn't look good to me. Saying that they overall have a smaller portion of players playing means that they're deriving more income from less of us. Not a good thing, okay? Now let's stretch that out to the point back to the guy from Blizzard. They want to go into this online presence. They want to have all these games, 2 or 3 games a year, starting in 2026, like game after game after game during the year to make them a lot of money, kind of like Baldur's Gate did. That's great, fantastic for that group of players looking forward to that segment of the Hasbro population who just can't wait to get into these games. I understand that. The new Transformers movie, Transformers 1, which I will not be seeing because it's not what I want to see. Sorry, no Peter Cullen, I'm not going. Either way, that's an aside, I realize. All those revenue streams coming in, they need to get that money from somewhere to get those things off the ground. Who's footing the bill to get those projects off the ground? It's not the board game segment. I'm sorry, it's not. You're right, guys. It's Magic the Gathering. It is Magic the Gathering, the analog version, as the person says, which is the tabletop players. We are the ones supporting up to $250 million a year to be kind of expensed to the online digital platforms to get that stuff going. That's how I read it after watching this and listening to it multiple times. They painted the rosy picture. They say where they want to go. They're not hiding it from their investors. But when you look between the lines and see where all the connecting dots go, Magic players are going to pay more. We are going to pay more money. Doesn't mean we're not going to get good products. Doesn't mean we're not going to have a banger of a year. As Chris notes, the advanced sales for Bloomberg, the pre-orders and stuff were way higher than anticipated. Yeah, because you did something right for once. Your R&D department did a good job. You should thank them and give them some of your bonus. I know, off topic again, but I get a little antsy with this stuff because I know that this is going to cost us more as Magic players. I know the revenue that gets generated from Magic is used to make the company more money, but it's not going back into Magic. No, it's going back into other areas of that company, which is their right. It's their privilege to do so because it's their money that they generated from Magic, and we're the ones buying the product. But what really gets me is knowing this is going to cost more money. Knowing it is not going to be cheaper or even the same price, it's going to be higher. Now, they did make reference to the fact that Modern Horizons 3 for this quarter kept pace with Lord of the Rings last year, so it looks really good on paper. But they did say for this quarter, and that's because for anyone who's been following my channel, the sales are dead. Modern Horizons 3 is over already. It's done. Nobody's buying it. Okay? It's a done product. People have moved on. We got Bloomberg sales already done, and we're already looking forward to the singles. Then you got Duskmourn coming. We've already advanced beyond all this, and they did make reference to how the Marvel expansions are really going to be something big next year, along with Final Fantasy, and they're expecting a big turnout of players for that, and chances are it's going to do very well, okay? Chances are this is all going to spell a lot of good things for the company. They even referenced the new Wolverine Deadpool movie, which is dropping, which of course will probably put more money in their pockets when their Marvel stuff comes out. They understand how the game is played. There's a lot of money that's going to be generated for this company from Magic the Gathering products, and they are probably going to put a lot of effort into making sure that these products continue to be successful. Okay, that means either power creep, old nostalgic cards coming back. They have a whole bunch of levers they can pull to make sure Magic stays profitable, and they need to, because they need to generate that money to get the other, I guess, legs of the stool much more rock solid. A better base by building out the other channels of the company to generate more revenue. They know they can't lean on Magic forever. That's kind of the kind of thing I got when they said these are the things we're going to be working on. These are the new branches we're kind of going into, and we are looking forward to the revenue it's going to generate. Like Baldur's Gate, they said for the year is only going to generate 30 million this year. It's not going to generate nearly what they thought. But things like Monopoly Go did very well, way higher than anticipated. And that's because of microtransactions. Get ready for it, guys. And they also did like a once-over, and I mean a once-over. For all you D&D fans out there, they barely glazed over D&D. Oh yeah, it's the things for D&D are going okay. Sure they are. That's why you just glazed over it like a little brush when you're doing a marinade, like a quick little brush on one side. You're like, oh, we're not going to touch that one very much, because they understand that the fans of that are not really on board with what's going on inside that space, and they don't want to agitate anyone out there. That's the smart move, and they did a good job avoiding a lot of those questions. When they talk about what the company's plans are, though, and going forward, how this is going to be the end result in the end of third and fourth quarter of 2025. They said there are going to be some new changes in the video games, as well as what we see with toys coming on board. These are all other avenues for the company to make money, but the major expenses are still going to come from the digital online, as well as Wizards of the Coast, Magic the Gathering, and they specifically said the analog guys. They're talking about the tabletop Magic that we play every Friday night, the stores we go to, and the people we get to play with and enjoy. So keep that stuff in mind if you're a Magic player, that chances are prices are going to shift up again next year. We're going to see a bit of an increase because they got to keep that revenue going. And if there's less of us playing, they either have to get new players involved in the game, which I think they're trying to do with a lot of these starter decks and the way they're promoting the game, but they also need to generate more revenue from the players who already exist inside this game. And they'll be looking at ways of doing it. Either it's going to be more flashy cards, new ways of getting these cards to us, and special secret layers to generate that revenue, guys, to keep the revenue going. Monty Python, anybody? Yeah, exactly. Two-parter instead of a one. We all know we're going with this, okay? It all starts to connect together when you look at it that way. And maybe it's just a tinfoil hat, but I've been around business long enough to understand. I've been to enough of these quarterly result meetings now that I can see the writing on the wall. I know where things are going. I know where the money is going to come from. And you as the player, you needed to watch this video to understand that as well. If you haven't seen it or don't watch the results, let this be your cautionary tale. Thank you again for hanging out with me today in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Like, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and of course, I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for another video. Have an awesome day, everyone. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to all the fantastic patrons we have here on the channel. If you've made it to the end of this video, don't forget you can be a patron too. You can join the Moxman crew, get onto my private Discord, and be a member of the team. You can join my YouTube membership member, or of course you can join my Patreon, assuming there's some slots open. Just take a look on the Patreon page under MTG Moxman. Thanks again guys, have a great one, and to all my patrons, thanks again. Well, I gotta be honest, it's more of the same. It's not a horrible thing. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. I just find it, for me, knowing it's going to come from us bothers me a bit, but I should be used to it by now, okay? I should be used to it that they're leaning on us as like the toughest part of the stool on a three-legged stool. They're using us like a crutch right now, trying to balance everything to get themselves off the ground. And this is an investor's call. It's not for me, the player. It's not for me, the content creator. So I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, I can't help but let it bother me, guys. It just gets under the skin a bit, that's all. But Bloomborough, great job. So looking forward to it. Right now, I'm probably going to Daredevil and Wolverine. You guys, I'm probably not even here right now. I'm not even at my house watching the comments. I apologize. I've got to go. It's Deadpool. It's Wolverine. What am I doing here still?